Quick little tips that get you some quick little wins. It's been a while since I made one of these, so we're giving it a go. What up folks, it's Alex here. Quick tips for DaVinci Resolve. Let's cut the chat and get straight to it. Let's kick things off with multiple audio sync. I've got this folder here. I recorded some on-camera audio when it comes to using these scaling options, which doesn't sound great, but then I also recorded some decent audio as well. I can sync all of these up, but you don't need to do them individually. Just put all of your video with its rough camera audio and then your good quality audio within the same bin, like I've got here, audio sync. Then I can right click anywhere without having selected anything, then come to auto sync audio. By waveform, I can leave everything as it is and then click sync. It's going to go through all of the clips, all of the audio and line everything up like so. So now if I grab this footage, put it on my timeline, it's replaced the camera audio with the good quality external audio. We're going to kick things off talking about the just like so. SubClips. SubClips are like a mini portion of a clip or a timeline that you can back up for safekeeping and then use later. They're really handy. Let me show you how they work. So I've got this timeline here, and let's pretend that I want some of this timeline for later. If I put my playhead where I want, I can hit I on my keyboard to mark an in, O on my keyboard to mark an out. Let's pretend I want to make a backup of this section because we need it later, we need it in another timeline, whatever it may be. If we then right click on the little bar at the top, there is an option to create subclip, or it's a keyboard shortcut, Alt and B. So if I hit Alt and B, you can see we've got a MVFX timeline, copy, subclip. Then on a brand new timeline, or a different timeline, I can grab that subclip, bring it in, we then right click, decompose, using clips, and we've got all of that stuff. But there is also another way. If we click on Edit at the very top, come down to Edit Options, there is an option, Decompose Compound Clips on Edit. What that means is then if I grab a subclip, bring it onto this timeline, we don't need to decompose, it's just got all of the bits ready to go. The Alt key. I've talked about the Alt key a bunch of times. It's really useful option if you're on a Mac. Let me just show you super quickly the main uses for it. So this clip here has the audio attached. You can see when I give that a click, it also selects the audio. If you want to work on them independently, if you just hold Alt or Option, then give it a click, you will just select the video and not the audio. Or if you want to do the other way, hold Alt, click on the audio. Now we've selected the audio. So you can really quickly click them and select them independently. If you hold Alt, click on this once again, hold Alt again, and then click and drag. It's a super quick way of duplicating, copying anything you like on the timeline. Just hold Alt, click and drag, and you'll make a copy. It's also really useful if you give something a click and then you use the controls within the inspector, it can jump just a little bit too much. If you hold Alt and then click and drag, you can do teeny tiny little adjustments, just allowing you to fine tune things like the rotation, the position, the zoom, and whatever else. Swap clips. Keyboard shortcut that's really easy to miss, that's just incredibly useful. Swap clips. So we've got these two clips on the timeline here, this little screenshot one and this of my face. If we want to swap them over, you don't need to kind of click and drag, oh, I've moved my audio, I need to move that, oh, it's all gone wrong. If you give your first click a click, like so, so it's highlighted or selected on the timeline, then hold Control, Shift, and use the full stop or period key, you can just move that over to the right. So you can keep nudging it over it goes, and it will just move things out the way like so. You can swap them around. If you want to go forward, you use Control, Shift, and full stop or period. And if you want to come back, you use Control, Shift, and comma. Left and right. Or if you want even more control, hold Control and Shift once again, but this time click and hold your mouse as well. Keep everything held, and then you can drag instead. This allows you to do the exact same thing, swapping clips, but this also allows you to then put it in the middle of existing clips, and it will split the clip and put them either side without actually overwriting anything. So then you can just barge everything out the way and put this clip wherever you want it to go. Crossfade audio. This one's super useful. If you want to just kind of bring the volume of something down super quick, you can of course do keyframes. There is now the auto audio ducker in the free version, but here's a super quick way of just bringing the volumes down on a particular part of a clip without all of the faff. So I've got this music track here. Now, here's a bonus tip. If you hold Alt and then click on the little line in the middle, sometimes it's hard to see, but your cursor will change to that new icon. Give that a click. You can super quickly set keyframes just like so. So that can be a super quick way of doing keyframes. But an easier way, let's get rid of all of those. Simply make a cut on this audio clip like so. I can then bring the volume down of the next one just by clicking and dragging that line. If we then right click on that edit point, we can add a crossfade. There you go. Then we can move this wherever we like, and it will just automatically kind of duck that audio down, now it's at a lower volume. When I want it to come back up, I'll do another cut, right click, crossfade, bring this back up, and there you go. Delete through edit. If you've made a load of cuts and then realize you don't actually need those cuts and it's kind of annoying having them there, what I've seen a lot of people do is just kind of delete the clip and start again. You don't need to do that. You can delete edits. So using that previous example where we did our crossfades, let's just get rid of these crossfades on these edit points here because we haven't put anything new in there. It's the same clip. We've just randomly made cuts. If you once again right click on those edit points, there is an option, delete through edit, and that'll just get rid of those. Once again on this one, delete through edit, job done. Now it's back to its original form. Clip colors. I could talk about clip colors for a while because they're really useful, but let me just show you the main reason why I really like them and I think they're a quick tip for a quick win. So from your timeline, simply select one or multiple different clips, right click, come to clip color, and you can see all of the colors to choose from. Let's go with orange, and that's just going to make those clips orange. Super useful for just marking different sections on your timeline. You can also do that for titles, which I find particularly useful. If I grab this title, another way to also do this is by opening up the inspector, come into File, you'll see Clip Color within here, select the color, that will change the color of the title. So wherever this title appears, if I duplicate it, it's always going to be pink, again, making it nice and easy to find. Now you can also do that within the inspector. So if I find this clip here, I can right click, come down to Clip Color, let's set this one to be lime. So whenever I add this clip to my timeline, it's going to be lime. Again, making it nice and easy to spot. You can even do that after you've built up your timeline. So this clip here, this is my main A-roll, but I didn't set it as a different color. And this footage is used all throughout this timeline on a few different tracks, as you can see. Now, I don't need to go through and select all of these different clips on the timeline. Instead, if I find the source media within my media pool, easiest way to do this is just to give it a click on the timeline, hit Alt or Option and F. It will highlight that clip within the media pool. Then I can right click, come down to Clip Color. Let's set this to be orange. Now all the instances of that clip on the timeline will now be orange. Useful, yes, for identifying different clips, but that's not the main reason I'm telling you about clip color. I'm telling you about clip color so you can filter by clip color. This is particularly useful if you're doing a bit of a grade. So I've built up the timeline, I forgot to color grade it, and all my A-roll is mixed up, and if I go to the color page, it's a bit of a pain. Now there are a ton of different ways to do things, remote grades and whatever else, but the easiest way to do it, click on clips at the very top left here, click the little drop down, there is an option clip color, and I can filter by orange. There's all my A-roll because I've nicely marked it as orange, and then if I highlight all of it, I can give this a click in my gallery, apply the grade, and now I have that same grade applied to all of those clips. Now, if you've never done that thing I just did, which is where I applied the grade using something within the gallery, that's my next tip for a big, quick win, and that is grabbing and applying still. So on the color page, if you click on gallery to open this gallery on the left, there is also then another option over here, still albums, and you'll have stills, power grades, and timeline. If I go to this stills one, this clip here has a grade. You can see I've done my grade over on the right. I can simply right click on the preview window and click grab still, and that will grab this still. Now this looks like a screenshot, but it's not, because if I clear this grade like so, I can then simply right click on this still and then apply the grade. And while it looks like a still image, it's not. It contains all of the color grade we've done. So then this can sit there in this project ready to use. Anytime I want to apply the grade, I can right click and come to apply grade. Alternatively, bonus tip once again, if you're using a mouse, just click your middle mouse wheel, bing, and that will apply the grade. Now, once you've done that, you can grab this and you can put this into power grades. Power grades are the same, except these things sit in your project library. So anytime you open a new project within this library, within this database, those will be there ready to go, and you can just apply the grades with a simple click. And now for my next quick win, why not take a look at this video sponsor, MotionVFX. MotionVFX have a massive range of presets and plugins for DaVinci Resolve that are designed specifically for creators just like you and me. If you do vlogs or make travel videos, you might want to take a look at Scrapbook, which brings a handmade charm to all of your videos, containing 60 different tools from titles, effects, transitions, and add-ons. Or, if you like the clean Apple kind of aesthetic, you can check out the brand new Keynote 2, which contains a massive range of titles, effects, transitions, add-ons, backgrounds, infographics like these super cool looking charts, placeholders, and more. All with a super clean, simple, colourful Apple kind of look. Or if it's only titles you need, you could check out the Title Mega Pack, which does exactly what it says on the tin, containing 125 different title openers. So you've got a title for every occasion. So if you want to check out the full range of plugins for DaVinci Resolve designed by MotionVFX, simply click on the link down in the description below. Right, next quick win. Applying LUTs from within the media pool. So did you know you can apply a LUT directly within the media pool, and you can do this for multiple clips at once? Now, this is useful if you've got a particular look, you've shot in a standard 709 and you've got some LUTs you want to apply. But this is also useful if you've got a manufacturer LUT which takes like a log format into 709 or whatever, and maybe you don't want to mess around with color management or using CSTs and all that stuff. Let's not get into that, let me just show you. So all of these were shot with Panasonic Vlog. If I just highlight them all, once again in the media pool, right click, there's a LUT option. And all of the LUTs you have installed will appear here. I can come down to Panasonic, Vlog to 709. Now all of these have that LUT applied. Now this is worth showing because if I go to LUT once again, if you've shot with DJI, there's a bunch of DJI LUT. We've got Red, Samsung, Sony's, we've got all sorts of different stuff, and it's just a right click away. The Filmstrip. So this is maybe not that useful to everyone, but I find it particularly useful if I'm editing on a laptop or a smaller screen. So your media pool might look something like this, and I've just never got on with this mouse scrolly thing when you're reviewing back your media footage. Now, if you're on a bigger screen, you can of course close the inspector and enable your 2 panels, but that doesn't always work if you're on a laptop. What I like to do is turn over to this view here, the list view, where you just get the list of all your footage. And then you click on these 3 little dots and then show the film strip. Then whenever you select some footage, you get the same little film strip at the top. I just find it looks neater. I don't accidentally go over things when I'm moving up here, going past and having the preview change, but I can really quickly just give this one a click, go through, do some in and out right in here, click, drag, bring it onto my timeline. It's really nice and quick, and I just find it a little bit neater and a little bit nicer to use. Media pool transform. Here's another super quick one. It might be obvious, but it's easy to miss. You can do transforms for a bunch of things at once in the media pool. So I've got some PNGs in this little folder here. Now, if anyone can guess which fellow YouTuber this is, type their name down in the comments below. Now, what I can do before we even put these on a timeline, let's highlight all of these. Then we can go to video. We've got all of our video controls within the inspector, and we can zoom this out, maybe change the position, the rotation, do whatever we like to do, change any of the things within the media pool. Now, anytime we grab any of those from the media pool, put them on the timeline, they will have those transforms already made. So they will already be in the position you've set them. Scaling. Now, you can do the exact same thing when using the scaling options as well. Now, this is particularly useful if you're using photos, but it also works if you're using videos with different aspect ratios, or if you're trying to put horizontal video on a portrait timeline. So take these photos here. We've got some that are vertical. This one is square, so it doesn't fit our 16:9. If we double click on any of them, come to the inspector, video, scroll down to the retime and scaling, we have scaling options. The 2 that are most important, that you'll use most often, fit. That will just make sure that it fits within the frame, but that's still going to give us our black bars on the side. If we go to fill, it's going to punch it in to make sure that it completely fills the frame. If we were to do it on this one, change the scaling to fill, it's going to punch in so it fills the frame. Now, rather than doing that clip by clip, you can also do this for an entire timeline, particularly useful if you're doing a vertical timeline. So if I create my new timeline, I'm going to untick the use project settings, go to format, tick the box to use vertical resolution, and it will automatically change this mismatched resolution to be that same option. It's called scale full frame with crop rather than fill, but it will do the same thing. We've got fill at the top here and we've got fit underneath. So if we make sure we scale full frame with crop and then create this vertical timeline, even if we grab some really wide footage, put this on this timeline, it's automatically going to punch it in so it completely fills our frame, just like so. Power bins. You might have heard of power bins before. Power bins are bins which you can access amongst all of the projects within your current project library. That means that if you've got videos or images or sound effects, music, whatever it may be, which you use a lot, you can have it ready to go because it's basically there in any project you create. To turn it on, you simply click on these three little dots within the media pool, come down to show power bins. The power bins will appear within your media pool, open them up, and here you go. Anything you put in here will be accessible in any future projects you create in this project library, or even if you go back into any existing ones. And that transform and scaling tricks we did before, they carry over to the power bins. So let's grab these images, which we've already set the scaling for. We're just going to drop them into this power bin, just like so. And now here we are in a brand new project. We can open that power bin. There's my three images, grab them all, put them on my timeline, and each one will already be punched in because we've already set the scaling to fill. Replace. This is one of my favorites. It's really easy to overlook. And if you've done kind of any work, honestly, to a clip on the timeline, then you want to replace that clip with a different clip. This can be music, it can be logos, PNGs, or even videos. You can do that replace without losing all of the work you've already done. So this clip here has a color grade on it, but let's also just change the zoom, maybe the rotation, pitch, yaw, whatever. Let's also go to the effects library and really quickly drop something on here like the flying flag, whatever it may be. Now we want to replace this clip, but we don't want to lose all of the stuff we've already done. Put your playhead at the very beginning of it. Make sure to select that track. So if you click on the tracks over here on the left, you can enable these A1s and V1s. You want to make sure the V1 is on the video track with the clip that you're wanting to replace. Then if I go to any of the clips within the media pool, if I click and drag onto the preview window, you get this little pop out. You can also use keyboard shortcuts, which are on screen for you now. If I go over replace and then let go, it's going to replace that clip on the timeline with my new clip, but it's not going to get rid of any of the attributes. So we've got the flying flag, we've got all of the transform stuff we set, and if we jump over to the color page, you can see it's already got our grade applied as well. Display stacked timelines. I made a whole video about this, but here's the quick version because it belongs in this video as well. Just above your timeline, click on this little icon, and then click on Display Stacked Timelines. This allows you to have multiple timelines open at once. That's handy. We're not going to go into that in this video. Why I recommend you do this anyway is because you can then right-click this little timeline and you have loads of options. Close the timeline, close all the other timelines, rename this timeline, open up the timeline settings, load it into the source viewer, find it in the media pool, and even duplicate it. So if you're making any changes, you can do a super quick duplicate to know that you have a backup. You can do all of those things in other ways, but having that option there just makes life a little bit easier. And no, annoyingly, you can't set that as the default. You have to turn it on every time you open a new project. Export presets. Rather than setting all of the export settings every single time, do it once and create a preset. On the deliver page, just select all of the settings that you usually use. The format, the codec, the encoder, resolution, frame rate, whatever it may be. You can also set file names. Now you can do wildcards in here, which is super useful. So if you just do the percentage sign, it will come up with these options. So I like to do something like the timeline name. So it'll automatically populate the timeline name. And then I might do another one, which is like today's date. I'll just type the date in there. And there you go. Then if we click on these three little dots, come down to save as new preset. It's going to ask you to give it a name. I'm just going to call mine demo. we can choose a logo, little icon, so we know which one's which. And if we want to, we can add it to quick export. So I'm going to give that a tick and then click save. And now whenever we want, we can come into the deliver page. On the far left of this little menu at the top, I've got a little drop down because I've got a few of them. If I go to demo, it's going to load in all of my settings. If I add this to the render queue, you will still need to set a destination. You can see it's pulled through the timeline name and today's date, so it's all ready to go. I don't even need to go that far though, because we added it to the quick export on the edit page. We've got quick export in the top right hand corner. Give that a click. It will now appear within this list. Quick note, this won't use your wildcards. It will always just default to the timeline name. You can't change that, weirdly, within the quick export, but it will come out as the timeline name. You simply click export from here and you're good to go. And that pretty much covers everything I wanted to cover in this video. If you found it useful, please do let me know. Thoughts and feelings down below. Like, subscribe, all the other YouTube nonsense. Thank you to MotionVFX for sponsoring this video, and do give them a click if you fancy checking out some of their offerings and whatever else. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. See ya.